Here.
Mrs. Dovis?
Here.
Mr. Means?
Present.
Mrs. Rule? Mr. Spacuzza?
Present.
Mr. Workmeister?
Present.
We have 7 members present this evening.
Thank you. This evening we are pleased to welcome Anthony Pictionary, did I say that right? Who is the West Region Member Engagement Specialist for the Pennsylvania School Boards Association to our meeting. Anthony is here tonight on behalf of PSBA, and it's my pleasure to turn the meeting over to him for a brief presentation.
Thank you. From Pennsylvania School Board Association, and at the Pennsylvania School Board Association, we have a program there called the Honor Roll Program. And what that is when a board member reaches 8 years of service, and every 4 years after that, we like to honor them for their years of service. So we have 2 board members tonight that we'd like to honor. And the first one at 12 years is Donna. So congratulations. Oh, yeah. And the next one we'd like to honor is David for 16 years of service.
You have to soften up that picture.
Oh, do I need my? Yeah.
Show that she has it already.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to come tonight. And this is the first time I get to say that. I get to take off my PSBA hat and put my community member hat on because I am a community member at Bethel Park. So I get to sit down and actually enjoy the meeting. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much. And now we're going to have a presentation from Mr. Steve Cipher from our auditing firm.
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. Evening, everyone. We have a short presentation regarding the annual audit that we did. And if we go to our first page here, the audit is required by the Pennsylvania School Code as well as federal law. It's an annual audit. It covers the school year ended June 30th, 2015. The important thing to keep in mind about auditors, Luke and I, we work for the board and we work for the public. The conclusion of what we do is to give you an opinion telling you whether the financial statements of the district represent where the district was at June 30th and how it got there. And the opinion that we've offered this year to Bethel Park is unmodified. That's exactly what you would expect to hear from us. Anything less than that is pretty much a catastrophe in any organization. But it's what we would expect to see. Now, when we go to the next page, the general fund is the fund that receives and spends most of the money. And if you look here, last year revenues were $80.2 million. The majority of it, 59.4, came from local sources, and that's mainly your tax dollars. State sources, $20,389,000, and then a very small amount of money from the federal government. And where we spent the money last year is on the next page. Instructional costs, that's the teachers and the supplies and equipment that are used in the classroom, $46.4 million. Support last year, which is aides and a whole variety of other people who help to support the education process, some $22 million. Non-instructional would be $1.5 million. Capital outlay last year, $120,000. Most of the capital expenditures are in a different fund, which we will get to in a moment. And the debt service on our property is $7.3 million for a total of $77.6. And moving to the next page, overall we had about $150,000 increase in our unassigned fund balance. Because the revenues were higher than the expenditures, the board was able to put into the district savings account for future capital costs about $2.3 million. And if we go over to the next page, the history of what we have, and what we call it is the unassigned fund balance. We have a certain amount of money and we allocate it to various sources. This is the part that is unassigned. It represents about 6% of expenditures for the current year that we're operating in. That's about where the district wants to be, anywhere between 5 and 8%, so 6.42 would be exactly right. And if you notice, it's been very steady over the past several years. And what that means is that the district has done an excellent job of maintaining financial stability in the face of what is extremely difficult situations right now. And we'll talk about those in a moment. Moving to the next page, what are the challenges for Bethel Park? Costs relating to expiring and current contract. Health insurance rates are expected to increase about 2.5%. That's actually a good thing. We are auditors for other places that are experiencing 7 and 8% increases in healthcare costs. Unknowns regarding state funding decreases. The question with the governor and the legislature is, will they even have a budget at all for there even to possibly be an increase? There are uncertainties related to federal funding. We don't receive a lot as it is, but the sequester laws that were put into effect a couple of years ago with the Congress and the President, every time federal funding doesn't meet certain guidelines, they perform a haircut, and it's on everyone. Probably the most significant negative that the district, and indeed all 500 school districts in the state face, is our share of PSERS, which is the Pennsylvania State Retirement System for all of school employees. We have increases of 8%, an additional $3 million that are going to occur every year for the next 5 years, and possibly beyond. And if we flip to the next page, we can give you an illustration of that. But before we get to that part, as I mentioned, we have a savings account for capital. What we have is construction funds, which are committed to finishing some high school bills and the Neil Armstrong renovation. And the $7 million is committed for renovation and unforeseen issues as the future rolls along. So that's $7.1 million. And if we move to the next page, this is what we're talking about for PSERS. Right now, for the year we just finished, we spent 25.84% of every dollar of payroll on retirement. That number is going up to 30.3% this coming year and likely to 32%. And this projects it out through the year 25. It's likely that it's going to go even beyond that. I think the market did terrible today. It's been doing terrible for a month. And until such point reaches where we're able to have the value of the investments that support this fund go up, there's not a whole lot that the district can do about it. And the thing that we want to point out is that with every one of the districts that participates in PSERS, none of them did anything wrong. You can point to the state legislature, you can point to the governor, and the decisions that they made over the 16 years of Ridge and Rundell primarily severely underfunded the plan so that whenever there were market crashes or adjustments, the money simply wasn't there, and we haven't made a sufficient recovery. But this is a reason that some school districts are not going to make it. Bethel Park will probably be one of the ones that does well, but the job that your school directors have is not going to get any easier. And this is one of the primary reasons for that. The last thing that we would say to the district is you're doing a good job maintaining a nice, steady fund balance, a nice, steady financial situation. We applaud the efforts in the face of a lot of adversity, and the public should be pleased with what they see. But thank you all for the opportunity. If there's any questions, we can answer those.
Anyone have
Have
any
a good
questions?
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Yes. Under personnel, under item number 4C, item 5 under that, the person there should be Ryan May. Under number 6, it should be Aaron Carter. And then under item number 7, approval to increase the pay rate for substitute bus drivers, bus aides, and substitute computer paraprofessionals. Under item number 2, it should read substitute computer paraprofessional hourly rate rather than the computer paraprofessional hourly rate.
Thank you. Anything else? I need a motion to adopt the agenda with those additions.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 7-0. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the reorganization meeting of December 1st, 2015, and the regular meeting of December 8th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 7-0. I need to announce executive sessions held December 17th, 2015 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. January 5th, 2016 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. January 11th, 2016 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. January 14th, 2016 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. January 19th, 2016, personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. And January 26th, 2016 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. Staff report and Mrs. Rose. Okay, thanks, sorry.
I have everyone queuing me, and I didn't forget. It's my honor this evening
I'm
to
sorry
do.
you have to talk this evening.
This is better than it was last week. It's my honor to recognize you this evening for School Director Recognition Month. So I'm butting in here before Dr. Stark begins. Public education, we all know, is more than just learning the basics of math, science, English, and history. Education is a platform for all students to reach their full potential. Quality education inspires hope for a new generation and a successful future. The Bethel Park School District exists in part because of the 9 individuals who volunteer their time to make informed decisions about the issues facing public schools. So, as we do every January, we take this time to celebrate these everyday heroes, the 9 elected school board members who serve our students, community, and the educational system of Bethel Park. According to the Pennsylvania School Boards Association, and it's nice to have you here, Anthony, in honor this month, school directors volunteer on average 20 hours a month to help run the schools in our community. And I have to chuckle when I say that, because in order to make informed decisions in this district, I would surmise that our board members put in more than 20 hours a week, especially the past few months as they were trying to find a replacement for the superintendency. As we all know, school directors are the ones who have to make the difficult decisions for the betterment of our students. Mr. Cipher said a little bit earlier when he was presenting to the board that they're the only group that has the privilege of raising their own taxes. They vote on multi-million-dollar budgets, hire staff, select textbooks, review bus schedules and curriculum, to name a few of their many responsibilities. They receive numerous phone calls and emails. They get questions about school district business while grocery shopping, attending sporting events, and I would guess sometimes even at church. What they don't receive is any remuneration for their services. They are the only elected officials in the state of Pennsylvania, in fact, who receive no compensation whatsoever beyond this brief annual recognition. And yet, as I look around this table, many of you continue to run for re-election because of your desire to continue to serve our schools and our community. In celebration of January's School Director Recognition Month, we encourage our community to show its appreciation to these 9 hardworking individuals for their time, effort, and dedication to public education, and specifically the Bethel Park School District. Please make time to thank them for advocating on behalf of our collective interests and making those difficult decisions. But most importantly, please thank them for being everyday heroes and making our students' success their #1 priority. This evening, we take time to present you with a couple of tokens of our appreciation for your service. In the envelope before you is a proclamation from the Pennsylvania School Boards Association, as well as a certificate of appreciation from PSBA. We also want to give you the plants that are in front of you with orange flowers as a symbol of all that you have done to help make our school district grow into a vibrant 21st century learning environment, poised to prepare our students for their futures and beyond high school. So on behalf of everyone in the Bethel Park School District, including our administrative team, staff, students, and community, we congratulate, support, and salute you for your continued commitment to Bethel Park. It's a shame that we don't recognize you more often during the school year, but we hope you know how much we appreciate everything that you do to make Bethel Park School District not only a great place to learn, but also a great place to work. At this time, I'd ask the audience to join me in a round of applause in recognition of our school directors. Thank you, and now Dr. Stark can have the mic.
And I have to tell you that the bronchitis, we've passed it around, so I do sound, by the end of this, I'll sound like a frog. 2016 is only a month old, but already we have several items of good news to share with you this evening. Normally, we start our presentations with student news, but tonight we thought we would change it up and begin with 3 items of staff news. As we discussed at the Curriculum Committee meeting earlier this month, Bethel Park High School teachers Lee Cristofano and Emily Smoller wrote a successful grant application for $5,000 from the Sprout Fund, which will help the high school to defray some of the costs associated with getting the new Big Data and Data Analytics course at the high school off the ground, starting next school year. The grant money will enable the teachers to purchase Tableau software, which will allow the students to create data visualizations and also help to pay for guest speakers and field trips. The class will be a semester-long course, and Bethel Park will be the only area high school to offer something like this to our students. Congratulations to Mr. Cristofano and Mrs. Smoller for their vision and initiative to bring this class to Bethel Park. Mr. Cristofano and Franklin special education teacher Jessica Mahoney have been named finalists for the Consortium for Public Education's Champions of Learning Awards. Ms. Mahoney is a finalist in the classroom teaching category, and Mr. Cristofano is a finalist in the technology integration category. They will be honored at a dinner that will be held in April at the Pittsburgh Marriott City Center. Congratulations to both of these deserving educators. Bethel Park School District Director of Technology Ron Ryer has been named a finalist for the Pennsylvania Association for Educational Communications and Technology's Chief Technology Officer of the Year Award. He will be honored at a banquet and awards ceremony that will be held on February 22nd. Ron was nominated for this honor because of his many accomplishments at Bethel Park, including his work to bring the TRETC Conference to Bethel Park High School in the fall, participation in the RWAN Rebid and Steering Committee, his efforts to bring the One-to-One Technology Initiative to Bethel Park, his work with Google Apps and Safari Montage, and moving the district forward with the new student information system. Congratulations, Ron, on this well-deserved recognition. 48 of our high school DECA students finished in 3rd place or higher at the DECA District Career Development Conference and will advance to the state competition, which will be held in March in Hershey. All of the winners' names are on the screen, but we wanted to give a special shout out to our first place students. They are Alyssa George, Cameron Manco, Brendan Todd, Sarah Steffen, Tasha George, Connor Price, Justin Lesnack, Tarush Ball, Alexa Zavola, Natalie Lalama, Jenny Gavette, Paige Davidson, Emily Kraska, Julia Wright, Haley Means, James Smith, Sean McLean, Carolyn Vanna, Emma Bruno, Justin Nath, Nikki Bello, Tammy Stugan, Riley Frank, and Haley Seeberger. Congratulations to all 48 students and good luck at States. The high school's Principals Advisory Council for Students, better known as PACS, raised $1,100 by selling pink bandanas and then gave the money to the St. Clair Hospital Breast Care Center. A representative from the St. Clair Hospital Foundation visited the high school to accept the check, thank the students for their generosity, and present a plaque to them proclaiming them Pink Out champions. Bethel Park High School DECA students Will Dunn and Nick Marsteller are heading up DECA's public relations campaign to create awareness for pet adoption. Throughout the school year, DECA students have participated in a variety of projects, including conducting an online survey to gauge the community's familiarity with pet adoption, walking dogs at the South Hills Pet Resort, collecting animal supplies for animal friends, working at the shelter on New Year's Eve to welcome new animals from other shelters, and bringing in a representative from Animal Friends to explain how the shelter works. Will and Nick will be featured in an upcoming Pet Tales column in the Post-Gazette in the near future, so keep an eye on your Saturday PG. The Rotary Club of Bethel Park named senior Sarah Amato its December Rotary... Okay. Why is it not moving? There it moved. No, it really moved. Now we have to just go back for a second. There we go. The Rotary Club of Bethel Park named senior Sarah Amato its December Rotary Student of the Month. Each month, the Rotary recognizes a Bethel Park High School student for outstanding commitment to school and/or community. Sarah was recognized for her efforts as the president of the school's Interact Club, a community service organization that is affiliated with the Rotary Club. She was also recognized for her efforts to coordinate the Glow Fest dance at the high school, with the proceeds donated to the St. Jude Research Hospital for Children, as well as her volunteer work at Jefferson Hospital and her work teaching CCD at her church. Congratulations to Sarah. 4 Bethel Park High School musicians successfully auditioned and were selected to perform in the Pennsylvania Music Educator Association's Honors Jazz Band Concert, which was held in December. Congratulations to Josh Anashenko, Daniel Galise, Ben Light, and Billy McDonald. We also had 9 high school musicians selected to perform in the upcoming PMEA District Band Concert, which will be held this Friday night at South Fayette. Congratulations to Emma Davin, Alex DeRose, Carolyn Griner, Austin Habishaw, Rachel Kinlan, Ben Light, Cheyenne Myers, Rebecca Thompson, and Joe Wasco. And we are pleased that 19 of our high school vocalists were selected to sing in the PMEA District Chorus Concert, which will be held next month at Penn Hills High School. Congratulations to Jefferson Bellback, Lauren Bustedo, Casey Brukwalski, Joe Campion, Angelina DeFelice, Kayla Dell, Marie Dykstra, David Urson, Lily Farmery, Garrett Hoffman, Michaela Eisenberg, Sebastian Leiss, Ian Markle, Claire Mikowski, Patrick McCall, Jeffrey McCain, Tyler Petrossi, Daniel Cedar-Franjak, and Adrian Slater. Bethel Park High School senior Joe Serafini was one of 165 students who were named a 2016 National Young Artists Foundation finalist in theater. As a finalist, Joe attended the 35th Annual National Young Arts Week in Miami, where he attended several master classes and workshops with internationally renowned leaders in music and theater. Throughout the week, Joe was adjudicated to determine additional awards, including monetary awards between $1,000 and $10,000. Joe was the only Pennsylvania student selected to participate in the program. Congratulations, Joe. Independence Middle School Principal Dave Minch challenged his teachers to find meaningful community service projects for their students to embrace. He wanted them to do more than just collect money or an item and give it away. He wanted this to truly be a learning experience for the students. The students on Team 7B participated in a project to benefit the Genray Foundation, which supports chemotherapy patients at Children's Hospital. Besides learning what it means to be hospitalized for chemo treatments, the students were able to select one of 3 projects: making a fleece blanket, crocheting a knit cap to keep the patients' heads warm, or sewing a chemo care bag, which the students then filled with toiletry items, puzzles, and games to keep the patients comfortable and their minds occupied. It was especially touching to see boys doing non-traditional activities such as sewing and crocheting. But all of the students approached their tasks seriously because they knew how much their efforts would be appreciated by those who would receive their projects. Independence Middle School students in Mrs. Campagna's food and nutrition classroom worked in groups to create what they believed to be the perfect food. Besides developing a recipe, the students also had to prepare and present their food to their classmates, create packaging and nutrition information, and film a commercial to promote their product. Some of the products created included Mallow Bites, Spud Surprise Soup, Cheesy Broccoli Croissants, S'mores Crescent Rolls, Fruit Lovers Pizza, and Stuffed. While their creations may not have been perfect, some of them came awfully close. The S'mores Crescent Rolls were refrigerated crescent roll dough filled with marshmallows and chocolate chips, baked and then drizzled with chocolate syrup and topped with crushed graham cracker crumbs. That might be as close to perfection as you can get. Knowing that their students are living in a technology-savvy world, teachers at Neil Armstrong Middle School, Lincoln Elementary School, and Washington Elementary School participated in a national project called the Hour of Code, which was held in conjunction with Computer Science Education Week in December. The students, even kindergarten and first graders, participated in age-appropriate activities that showed them how to code on a computer. Second graders were even able to write code to get the famous Angry Bird to move across the screen to land on the pig. No, back to Franklin. There we go. Franklin Elementary School fourth graders in Mrs. Luzader's room are taking coding to even greater depths with a program called Scratch. Mrs. Luzader and Principal Teresa Dumont attended a Scratch workshop over the summer and were excited to bring this coding program back to Franklin. Mrs. Luzader's students recently completed PowerPoint-style All About Me presentations on their Chromebooks, but they created their presentations from scratch by writing code to include things such as rotating images, flashing unicorn tails, and audio. They did a great job. By the end of the school year, these students will be coding their own video games. The students made it a point to invite Technology Director Ron Ryer to their classroom to thank him for the Chromebooks and to show him the things they are able to do with the technology. Lincoln students accepted the design challenge and used their ingenuity to create a bag that students could use to always have their accelerated readers' books handy. The designs, called Paz Purses, in honor of Lincoln librarian Denise Pazikanix, had to be easily replicated. Designs included bags made from duct tape, bags made from the zippered plastic bags that sheet sets come in, and bags made from gym shorts. The students did a great job. Congratulations to Lincoln third graders Ethan Varley, Gianna Santoro, Alex Odenthal, Christian Davis, and Kira Davis, who met their accelerated reader goals and earned a breakfast with the guys. Lincoln male staff members, including Principal Mr. Johnson, teachers Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Hayes, and Mr. Bose, and custodian Mr. Fitzpatrick. It was a fun way for everybody to get their day started. The Pittsburgh Penguins Foundation contacted the district to see if we could arrange for some second graders to participate in filming that would be turned into the Penguins Foundation 2015 holiday video. Memorial second graders Peter Eliopoulos, Atharv Gautam, Addison Gatos, Eric Husa, Cameron Cracy, Aaliyah McPherson, Adam Painter, and Emily Stolpa joined Pittsburgh Penguins hostess Selena Pompiani for a round robin of questions about several topics, including the holidays, what they want to be when they grow up, and how they would change the world. The final product was uploaded to the Penguins Foundation's YouTube channel. And finally, parents whose children will be age 5 on or before September 1st, 2016, are encouraged to pre-register their children for kindergarten at this time. The pre-registration forms are on all of the elementary schools' web pages, and parents can either mail or drop them off at the schools in advance of our March kindergarten registration dates. Pre-registration greatly assists the district with its planning for the upcoming school year, so we thank all of our parents for participating in the pre-registration process. And that concludes our report for this evening.
Thank you. Student government.
Hi there. My name is Natalie Lalama, and I'm the Senior School Board Representative for Student Government. So currently, Student Government is selling Yuta bands. So Yuta bands are bracelets handmade in Guatemala out of leather and coconut. So all the profits from these bracelets that we're selling at lunch periods are going to sponsor a student. His name is Elton Wizon, and he lives in Guatemala. And there, in order to go to school, you have to pay a tuition. And he unfortunately can't afford this tuition, so all the money that we're making from Yuta bands is furthering his education. And also, keeping with the theme of community service, Junior Joshua Poe for Student Government is leading a clothing drive for Light the Life Ministries, and we're asking for gently used, warm clothing in order to aid this ministry and the shelter and helping the homeless this winter. Right, thank you.
Great,
Did you
thank
do
you.
the bands for another student in another year? Or is that the
Yeah, in
first year?
2014.
Was that successful too?
Yes, it was very
Because I remember doing, and where can we get those bands?
We have them at the high school during lunch periods, but I can see if, talking about bringing them out to the community, I can talk to our president and see what he thinks about it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd be
Natalie,
interested.
if any community members would like to make a donation of clothing, and you're talking about winter clothing right now?
Yes.
For the Light of Life mission, where can they bring those items?
I'm actually not sure about that. I would have to ask Mr. Gallietta.
Okay.
Okay.
If you could let us know, we can
Yeah,
add
of
it
course.
on the website.
All right, thank you so much.
Are you collecting checks too?
Yes.
Thank you. PTA, PTO Council.
Good evening. My name is Dawn Hughes. I'm the co-president at George Washington Elementary. First up is Memorial Elementary. Memorial had their Sarah's Candy fundraiser in December and raised over $6,000, one of the highest sales they've had from Sarah's. They also had a Five Below fundraiser just in time for Christmas. Memorial is in the middle of their readathon, where kids raise money by getting sponsored to read, and also had their Barnes & Noble book fair. Some teachers from Memorial made guest appearances to read to the kids during the book fair. Every month, Memorial has 1 or 2 spirit nights. This month, they were at the trolley stop for dinner, and this Friday will be Chuck E. Cheese. It's a great way to raise some money, but also get high participation from families from their school. Next is Ben Franklin Elementary. The Ben Franklin PTO had a great month. Due to the generosity of the Franklin families during fall and winter fundraising efforts, the PTO was significantly ahead of their budget and was able to purchase $2,000 worth of new indoor recess items and learning tools the teachers had requested. They also hosted their first movie night, which was a huge success. Finally, they are gearing up for their 4th annual readathon, as well as scheduling many assemblies and field trips for all the grade levels. Next, we have Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln had a PTO meeting on January 7th. Lincoln's Spirit Night at the Pottery Place was canceled due to the weather, and a new date is to be determined. Lincoln had its annual bowling party at Legacy Lanes on January 18th. Many students and their families came to enjoy their day off together. Lincoln's School Spirit Day was Hat Day on January 22nd. On January 15th, the Lincoln Loggers program began. Lincoln Loggers are a group of K through 4 students at Lincoln who walk weekly in an effort to accumulate 25 miles before running the final 1.2 miles as part of the Kids Marathon in Pittsburgh, PA. Beginning band night was held in the school multi-purpose room on January 25th. Lincoln is looking for individuals working in science, technology, energy, engineering, art, or math career to speak to elementary students about how they use math and science in their job. The STEAM program will be held on February 26, 2016 during the school day. Next we have NAMS. NAMS PTO ended 2015 with a bang. NAMS PTO is very proud that their annual Santa Shop raised $47 this year. Yes, only $47. In an effort to spread the spirit of giving during the holiday season, NAMS PTO offered creative ways so every child could afford gifts for their family. The annual charity carnival raised over $6,000. NAMS PTO would like to thank Jessica Magnu for her extra efforts making this such a successful event. On January 29th, NAMS PTO is excited to start off the new year with their first ever January bingo. Everyone is welcome, so come and join us. See you at NAMS Cafeteria at 6:30 on the 29th. They are also looking forward to their upcoming car smash, dodgeball game, and serving the children, parents, and staff at Neil Armstrong Middle School. And last is George Washington Elementary. Washington sponsored a movie night on January 15th. Students enjoyed the Minions movie while lounging in their PJs. The 4th grade activities committee sponsored a bowling party on January 18th. The Mars Stars jump rope team performed for Washington students last week as part of the Jump Rope for Heart program that will run in February. All proceeds will benefit the American Heart Association. The accelerated reading program began yesterday and will run for 6 weeks. The theme for this year is Oh, the Places You'll Go. Washington just wrapped up their Fun Pasta and Pierogies fundraiser, and next up is Sarah's Candy and Mrs. Fields Cookies just in time for Easter. The We Run Club begins its 5th year in February. Students will train for the Kids Marathon by exercising, stretching, and running on Wednesdays through April. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great. Solicitor's report.
Nothing to report this evening.
Committee reports, Mrs. Buckley?
Yes, Mrs. Cook, thank you. We held a curriculum meeting on January the 13th where there was discussion about the kindergarten center, high school course selection guide, and the school performance profile and data.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any public comments on agenda items this evening? Seeing none, we'll move into business items and curriculum committee, Mrs. Buckley.
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. There are 3 items this evening under curriculum. Would any held out?
Number 1, please.
Okay. Any others? All right, then I will move numbers 2 and 3, and that includes the school-sponsored overnight educational activities for the forensics competition, and number 3 is the professional development.
Second.
Items 2 and 3 under curriculum committee have been moved by Mrs. Buckley and seconded by Mr. Means. Any questions or comments on either of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. Mrs. Buckley.
And then item number 1 is the high school course selection guide for the 2016-2017 school year.
Second.
Thank you.
Item 1 under curriculum has been moved by Mrs. Buckley and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any questions or comments on this item?
I have a question. It's kind of a legal question. Since the school board is tasked with establishing graduation requirements, do we need to change those through a separate vote, or can that be done through approving the course selection guide? Because we are changing not the number of credits, we're changing how you get there.
I don't believe that you would need a separate action item. I believe that that can be accomplished through simply approving the curriculum.
Okay.
If it would require a separate action, I believe that's something that could be done at a later time, but we'd have to just verify that, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries 7-0. Personnel Committee, Mr. Means, would you take that for me this evening?
Sure. There are 7 items under Personnel Committee. Would anybody like any of them held out separately? Seeing none, I move that 1, approval of substitutes, 2, approval of unpaid leave of absence, 3, change of assignment, 4, appointment of personnel, 5, attainment of status of professional employees, number 6, acceptance of resignation, and number 7, approval to increase the pay rate for substitute bus drivers, bus aides, and substitute computer paraprofessionals.
Second.
Cindy?
I didn't hear who did that, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Items 1 through 7 under
Sorry.
Personnel have been moved by Mr. Means and seconded by Mrs. Buckley. Any questions or comments on any of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. Mr. Spacuzzi gets off this evening because we have no items under Facilities and Services Committee. Mr. Amidits, Finance Committee.
Yes, this evening we have 8 items under the Finance Committee. Would anybody want any of these held out for discussion? Hearing none, I move all 8 items. Number 1 being the December 2015 and January 2016 salaries and bills. Number 2 being the November 2015 financial report. Number 3 being the December 2015 financial report. Number 4, budgetary transfers. Number 5, adopt the 2016-2017 preliminary general fund budget. Number 6, approval to participate in Western Pennsylvania Electricity Consortium extension. Number 7, approval of the purchase of information technology equipment. And number 8, items declared unused and unnecessary.
Second.
Items 1 through 8 under Finance Committee have been moved by Mr. Amidits and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any questions or comments on any of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 7-0. Other, Mrs. Dobus, would you take other for me this evening?
Sure. There's one item under other. It's the approval of the D. Richard Wynn Award nomination. This nomination has been made by the administration for the school board to be nominated for this particular award.
Second.
Thank you. Item 1 under Other has been moved by Mrs. Dobus and seconded by Mr. Means. Any questions or comments on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries 7-0, and the board thanks administration for nominating us. Any public comments on anything you wish to address the board on? You have 2 minutes at the microphone. Name and address, please. No one? Board comments. Mrs. Dobus?
I have no comments this evening.
Mr. Means?
Yeah, after 4 years, you'd think I'd be smarter. I come out here and see the plants in the envelope, and I realize it's Board Appreciation Month. And I'd like to thank whoever put the plants together. They're very attractive. But it's somewhat embarrassing, I think, to sit up here and have Nancy say all those nice things about us every year. But it's been a real pleasure to serve with this board. The people are very nice, they're easy to work with, and I found it a pleasure, and I think my life is richer for having dealt with all of them. And also I'd like to include in that Dr. Tim Campbell and Chuck Schubel, who served on the board till recently.
Thank you. Concurred. Mrs. Buckley?
I would just like to thank all of the people involved with the great Alumni Hall of Fame that was held on January 22nd. Many people worked very hard and made a wonderful presentation to 5 people, and Dr. Tim Campbell being one of those. And I just want to thank fellow board members and Mrs. Rhodes for coming that evening. It was very, very nice. Thank you.
Very nice. Mr. Spacuzza?
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. I would really like to congratulate Mrs. Cook and Mr. Amidits for their years of service to Bethel Park. I can tell you, as a person who sat in Donna's seat once or twice, she's way better than anybody that I can imagine. She does a tremendous job. She runs a great meeting. We're prepared. It's wonderful. And David, thank you very much. You put a lot of time into this, and your insight is always valued, believe me. And I'd also like to congratulate the other board members. I think that, as Mr. Means said, you develop some friendships over time, and as you could, if you look at our agenda, you notice that we spent the whole month of January together, so it wasn't really hard to get to know each other very much. But we don't always agree. I mean, you may think we always agree, but we don't. There's a lot of good discussion that goes on in the back room. A lot of opinions are shared and not always agreed upon, but in the end we come to conclusions that are best for the district and the students. And thank you very much. It's enough, plenty. Thank you.
And he doesn't mean that all of our discussions go on in the back room, because quite a lot goes on out here. The legal
Only the legal
yes.
stuff.
The nitty-gritty stuff. Mr. Workmeister.
Well, first, as most people know, since I'm new here, I don't deserve these. I don't get these awards anyhow. So, I mean, this is only my first month.
Don't worry, you'll earn it.
It's a down payment.
Yeah. Well, second, I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with the fact that it's not a two meeting a month position here, like has been stated. January was a whirlwind there, but it was a lot of fun actually, even though it was a lot of time. Congratulations, like has been said to Donna for her great service here of 12 years, and Dave for your 16 years. I mean, geez, it's great. Also, real quick, just to congratulate, and I guess I won't give the names of everybody, but as you saw, it was looks like Bethel Park, as we know, is a great place to be, and we've got a lot of great people here with a lot of great awards and things like that that's been given. So I won't reiterate those, but congratulations to everybody on the list that was up there. And also, Ron not being here, I wanted to thank him because he's been helping us with the Chromebook and that, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Amiditz.
I'll just say thank you, everybody, for making the comments about me. I didn't expect any of that. I had, like Jim, forgotten about the that this was recognition month for the school board, and I've been on for 16 years, as you said, so it's just not something I don't think any of us look forward to, is the recognition. As Mrs. Rose mentioned, our salary that we get is nothing to speak of either. But we do it because I think we think that we're making good strides for the district and our community, and it's a way to give back. And I think you get what you give, and I get a lot back, and I really appreciate that. And other than that, no other further comments. Just have a nice evening and a safe trip home.
Thank you so much. And I likewise want to recognize this board. It's certainly a pleasure to come to board meetings, working with you all and the administrative team and everyone in Bethel Park, quite frankly. We have great students, we have great administrators, great teachers, great staff, and a great community of just overall folks. We truly are blessed to be here. And I'm going to keep you guys for some more time, so I'm going to make a motion to have somebody make a motion to adjourn, but we still have another executive session. So I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Good night, everyone. I need you back in the back.
Take our plants back there too.